When I get a new tube of toothpaste, just that when I first open up that new tube of toothpaste and I take that first thing, I don't know what it is about it, but just getting that fresh tube, that full tube, it's not all squished down, and used up, and where you get down to the point where you're like really squeezing it hard to get toothpaste out. No, there's something very cool that it just gives me this little tiny feeling of happiness.
Might as well jump.
When I get to start a new tube of toothpaste. And I noticed that last week because there were a couple of other small tiny things that made me happy, that made me smile last week. For example, I went through my wife and I went through the Jack in the Box on our way to church last week and got a couple of small sandwiches or something, I don't know, a sandwich and a cup of coffee or something. And the total came to $6.00. $6. And that, and it immediately hit me. It's it's usually $6.03 or $6.02 or something like that. It's never the round number $6. And I even said to the person who was working in the, behind the counter, I said, that gives me great joy to have that $6. And then oddly enough, the same day later on, I went to Costco. Now, we all know that when you go to Costco's expensive. It costs a lot of money to go to Costco. Well, I went in there and I bought what I was looking for, and I went through the line to pay for it, and my total bill was $95.46. It was below $100. How often do you go to Costco where your bill is below $100? Even the cashier made a comment about, wow, you're below $100. And we were laughing about, it's actually illegal to shop, to leave Costco with less than $100. And it was a joke, and it was kind of, and again, it was like this small thing, but to me, it was like a small victory. And see, that's the thing, is that like the toothpaste, like starting the new tube of toothpaste, the $6, the under 100 at Costco, life is actually a whole bunch of little things that happens to us. And, the saying goes that it's never the lions and tigers who get you in the jungle, it's the mosquitoes who get you in the jungle. And when we are in business, for us, our clients, for them, it's not really the big stuff that makes the difference. It's the little tiny things. It's the small things. It could be a mosquito that is irritating. It could be something just tiny, and who knows what it could be. Van Halen, if you remember the band Van Halen, there's a video with Lee Roth where Van Halen had a very famous thing where they had in their contracts, they had in one of the clauses that that they wanted a bowl of M&Ms in their dressing room, and that all of the brown M&Ms were removed.
What is the real story about the brown M&Ms? Our setup time and our teardown time was going 3 times over. We were going into Union Golden time. It was taking 6, 8, 7, 9 hours longer than it should have, etc. A lot of that was because the crew was unfamiliar with this size of a production. The rest of it was because a lot of the promoters, and it was a little bit more cowboy back in the 80s in the promotional field than it is today. The promoters frequently didn't read the contract writer, and we would have structural fiscal issues because, hey, there wasn't the proper electricity, load bearing, stress, etc. So, in the middle of a huge contract writer, keeping in mind that most rock and roll bands had a contract writer, it was like a pamphlet. We had one that was like the Chinese phone book. It was huge, and in the very middle of it, I had them place a clause. that just out of the middle of nowhere, it would say, for example, there will be 12 ampere high voltage sockets placed at 15-foot intervals, not to exceed the load bearing, etc., etc. And then just out of the middle of nowhere said there will be no brown M&Ms in the backstage area, or the promoter will forfeit the show at full price. What was the point? If I came backstage, having been one of the architects of this lighting and staging design, and I saw brown M&Ms on the catering table, then guaranteed the promoter had not read the contract writer, and we had to do a serious line check, because frequently we had danger issues.
That was an attention to detail, attention to little things. Jan Carlson, when he was CEO of SAS Airlines, the Scandinavian Airlines, he wrote a book called Moments of Truth, touch points, in other words. Those is that every single time your clients, your customers have a touch point with you, that is a moment of truth. I've talked about that many times before, but today I'm talking about it from the perspective of a lot of these moments of truth are just tiny, small things. And they can either be a tiny, small thing that is a complete irritant to your customer or client, or it can be something like the toothpaste that gives a little bit of joy to them, a little bit of happiness, and makes them feel good. Just a little tiny surprise that they like. So what is the deal? So what's the moral to the story, so to speak, right? Well, the moral to the story is pretty simple, is that have you taken a look at every single touch point, every single one? Have you taken a look at your relationship with your customers? Have you looked at it from the customer's perspective, and have you looked for those little small moments of truth that are tiny mosquitoes, that are irritants, or they're cool things like the toothpaste that you can plus and that you can use to enhance the relationship with your customers and your clients? So with that, I think I'm going to go brush my teeth. This is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad. Thanks for watching.
Dave Roth, make yourself at home. You got a brown M&M? Just ask it.